somebody who is not trash.
Keanu Reeves.
And that is Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves is
What's his name, Miracle?
Oh, did I say Reeves?
You said like reefs.
Oh,
Keanu Reeves. He's like...
Keanu Coral Reefs.
Is there
Exactly.
like somebody should buy some like...
No, it's good. He does the same thing.
Do they sell... I do what?
I'll like point out when I mispronounce something.
You can't English very well. You say that all the time.
Yep. But do continue. Like somebody bought a coral
Somebody
reef.
should buy a coral reef and name it the Coral Reefs, the Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves.
Mm-hmm.
That's very funny.
That would be amazing. Somebody should do that. So anyone who knows...
I'm surprised there's not like a charity that's like, protect the coral reefs. You can like buy it and sponsor it like the way they do stars and stuff.
Yeah, that was literally what I
It's
was
a genius idea.
I was like,
if anyone starts this charity, Brett and I need to be on the board.
I want to join. I want to join.
Well, it's because like growing coral, like I was watching a video like how they grow it. It's kind of tedious because like you have to get a very healthy part of it and then you put it into a sponge and then like you have to constantly feed it and filter the water.
That's why destroying it, like it's a huge deal because you can't just be like, oh well, we planted it back. Like no. Anyway, sorry.
Well,
what's Keanu up to?
Well, the opposite of all of the other celebrities we were talking about earlier. I think Keanu Reeves is carrying on the Betty White legacy. Everyone loved Betty White. Everyone loves Keanu Reeves. Everyone. There's
and he probably will live past 100.
He like just on being a good, like there will be good guy energy that carries him on till like 150 zillion years old.
Is he on social media? Maybe that's the trick to staying young. I don't think he is.
This is another thing that I hate that people do is like when people like take like general quotes and then they add it and make it look like a tweet and they make it from like a celebrity. And I was like, I know for a fact that they didn't write that.
That's just an idiom. Like people just say that.
So it says Keanu Reeves has long been regarded as one of the nicest guys in Hollywood, but there's even more to this angelic persona than most of us know. In 1991, his younger sister Kim was diagnosed with leukemia, a type of blood cancer which she battled for 10 years before entering remission. Keanu put his life on hold as he became her carer. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Carer?
Yeah.
Okay. I always said caregiver.
It makes sense too that way too.
Which saw the Matrix sequels delayed and Keanu sell his house so that he could move closer to her and look after her. He also donated around 70% of his salary from the Matrix to leukemia to aid in the search for a cure.
Which Matrix?
That was I had heard this story before this movie ever came out. So this is from the original Matrix, which actually made
that's a significant amount of money.
Yes.
I was gonna say like the one that just came out, like maybe he's getting paid a lot because they've done a lot, but like you were talking about before, like bonuses, like.
It says during this time, Keanu also created a charity to support people and children living with cancer, which he didn't attach his name to. This is my big point about all of this: is the real charity. It's everyone's seen the memes of like somebody. It's like a guy's like got his phone on him and he's going to give bread to a homeless person,
or you're standing in front of your sink trying to steal yourself to get ready for that New Year's Eve.
Yeah, exactly. It's all performative, right? So Keanu, like, I feel like that, or he like my cynical side says like he's just got a great marketing plan right now. Where he's like, could you like leak this to the media? No, he wouldn't do that because Keanu is just awesome. He says,
sorry, you go.
It says he hasn't spoken much about his charity because he doesn't want it to be associated with his celebrity. But in 2009, he told Ladies Home Journal that it aids people with cancer and children's charities. He gives interviews to Ladies Home Journal.
This guy.
Like, he probably didn't even want to...
He subscribes to them, too?
I bet you he didn't even want to do the interview. He's just too nice to say no.
He's like, People Magazine is like, we want an interview. He was like, no, you're too big.
I've got...
also, that's probably a huge boost to Lady Home Journal. People are like, oh, I'll buy a copy.
Like, I imagine...
He's supporting smaller businesses, too.
His agent set him up with an interview for both Ladies Home Journal and the New York Times or Time Magazine, and he's like, well, Time Magazine doesn't need my help, let's go do the Ladies Home Journal interview.
Everything I'm doing is helping someone else.
Exactly. Says Keanu and his sister Kim were particularly close after growing up together in a tough home. Their father walked out when Keanu was 2 and later jailed for drug possession. They moved around a lot with their mother, who took them from Hawaii to Australia to New York and Canada. Keanu was notoriously careful with his money, often been seen riding on the subway, where he is also regularly spotted giving up his seat for other passengers. to be honest, that sounds like the bare minimum for nice levels, but given a lot of the other men we're dealing with in Hollywood, I'll take it. That's kind of dickishly phrased, but I get it, what they're saying. They're drawing a contrast there.
Well, and I think, too, like, he was young when he started acting and, like, making money. I think a lot of those people start, like, spending tons. Like, I know you see this some professional athletes. It's, like, the first time
most of them end up broke. A lot of them end up broke.
And they, like, spend it all right away. Whereas, like, one of my favorite pictures of Keanu Reeves, a paparazzi took of, it feels like it must be recent, is him picking up his Christmas tree at, like, a Christmas tree lot in California, or maybe New York, and it's on his Porsche.
Yeah.
Like, this man is using a Porsche to drive a Christmas tree home. Like, that's hilarious. And also, like, maybe he has been careful enough for so long that he can do these cool things.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean,
like, good for him.
If we're looking at the movies that he's made just in the last few years, we're not talking Speed, we're not talking the original Matrix or any of those, but just the money he's made off the John Wick movies alone in the latter half of his career. He's got a significant amount of money, but there's also the video of him, like, in the rain, in full, like, in his wardrobe for John Wick, carrying camera equipment up the stairs, helping the crew, because he's like, there's work to be done. There's work to be done.
What a great attitude.
And it's in the rain, and, like, it's just hilarious.
But he doesn't think he's better than anyone else, which is, like, I think such an important lesson that we have all forgotten.
It's why it works. He doesn't leverage it. He doesn't, like, when these articles are written, it's like whenever they talk about this stuff to him, he says, I really wish you hadn't brought that up.
Well, like, I would like to hear someone ask him, like, when you do a movie, like, how do you approach a movie? Because, like, him helping camera guys carry stuff up in the rain, like, he clearly thinks that, like, even though he's the star and they're lighting, Chris Pratt has this quote where they're like, you're the star of this movie. He's like, yeah, I say lines that other people have written after someone does my makeup perfectly and stand on a pre-lit spot and move exactly where someone else tells me. Like, there are so many people working on movies, like, that attitude of, like, yes, we must move the cameras. Like, he must think of creating a film as a team effort. That's what I want to know.
And it absolutely is. It's like they get the credit, but the amount of work that goes into making that shot look the way it does, and that's just and what you just listed, that's just the stuff in production beforehand. That's before you get to color grading and editing and sound design. There's there's often thousands of people involved in these projects that make it come out the way it does.
I know this guy who's an actor, and he, like, did some big stuff, but he talked about being young and, like, going out with his friends for the weekend and being super, like, messed up and drunk or whatever, and, like, getting out of a moving car and, like, scraping his face really intensely. And he was shooting a TV show at the time, and the producer, who's, like, a fairly well-known guy, pulled him aside. They had to delay production for days because this, like, I don't know if he was, like, 21 or whatever, like, damaged his face that, like, no one could work because it was, like, they couldn't cover it at all. And he was like, the producer or the director at the time pulled him aside and was like, people aren't going to work with you because of this. And, like, the guy, you would probably, like, some people would know who he is, but, like, you know, I don't know if that reputation became him, and that's why he's not more mainstream than he is. He had sort of a high start. But I think about that all the time, which is, like, yeah, it's fun to do stuff in the moment that is fulfilling to you, but, like, your actions always have consequences. And that's particularly true for actors who people, like, that means that the guys who operate the boom mics aren't working. That means the people in production aren't working. That means crafters aren't working. Like, you stopped everyone else from working because of something you thought would be funny.
It says, during the filming of his first movie, his contract for the Matrix sequels included a significant pay cut so that more money could be made available for costumes and special effects workers. During the filming of the first movie, he gifted a dozen stuntmen with Harley-Davidson motorcycles to thank them for their work on the film. He has a strong connection to stunts and stuntmen because he does a lot of his own stunts as well. He says, I just wanted to give a bigger thank you to all these guys who helped me make this. All of this was brought him to the title of the internet's boyfriend, which he thinks is wacky, but he appreciates the positivity of. One thing we can all agree on is that we must protect Keanu Reeves at all costs. The reason I drew the Betty White conclusion is because that was a very common thing to hear.
Oh my gosh, you must be so nervous. As soon as people start being like, we must protect you at all costs, you're like, oh my gosh, something bad is now destined to happen to me.
It's so the other one was he also when they finished John Wick 3 Parabellum, he bought all the stuntmen Rolexes, like $10,000 Rolexes. He's just and he owns a motorcycle company. He owns, I don't remember the name of it offhand, but he owns
I'll
a
search it.
Okay. So he's got he's just one of those dudes, right? So there's probably other dudes in Hollywood who have similar like profiles of being like really good guys, but maybe it's more in the sense that they just get work no matter what. So if you're easy to work with, if people like you, you'll keep getting work if you've reached a certain level. But it's just, I don't know if there's anyone that I would draw the same.
Oh, it's Arc Motorcycles.
Okay, cool. So it says, it says this article is from Women Working, which I thought was hilarious. I don't know if I'll ever be on Women Working again. Keanu Reeves generously gave away $75 million of Matrix earnings
Why
to
wouldn't
crew.
you be on Women Working again?
Because I'm neither a woman, but
but you don't support them?
you
You don't support Women Working? Interesting. No, I'm just kidding.
Fight him.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm just kidding.
Dude.
It just goes silent.
He doesn't know where to go from here.
I don't support women work. No.
Okay.
That's right, I don't.
Good.
As I'm with two women who are literally working with me. It says Keanu Reeves is known for his
You
humility.
think I would be working if I didn't have to, probably,
Exactly.
actually. But
He's like, if I could replace Miracle, I would replace him with Andy.
If you know,
You and Andy have like this weird thing.
wait, I want to finish this article.
Yeah,
okay,
go.
thank you. Okay, this is why I'm mad. Reeves seems to have shown time and time again that he considers himself just like many average folks. He once perfectly showed this how humble he is during a press conference in 2019 for his film John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. According to the Jakarta Post, when he was asked about the reports that he gave up his profits for The Matrix to help the production crew, Reeves said Reeves did not hype up his charitable action. Instead, he went the opposite route. Experienced movie and television fanatics may this, but back-end points correspond to a percentage of earnings for a movie or television show. So basically, if a movie makes a profit, the stars who have back-end points written into their contracts will get a piece. That's like what we were talking about earlier with Scarlett Johansson. Reeves gave away a large chunk of his back-end points for The Matrix for the special effects costume design crew, given the fact that a lot of The Matrix is known for its cool effects and sleek costumes. According to a movie executive, quote, he felt that they were the ones who made the movie and they should participate. So how much did Reeves end up giving away? The second and third Matrix movies earned more than $1.2 billion at the worldwide box office. When it was all said and done, Keanu reportedly ended up giving away an estimated $75 million. Each member of these teams receiving $1 million per person, instantly making them all millionaires. But he didn't stop there as just the special effects crew and costume teams. He also gave the entire stunt team of the Matrix Harley-Davidson motorcycles. And he says, quote, I'd rather people didn't know that, Reeves said. It was a private transaction. It was something I could afford to do, a worthwhile thing. So he just didn't even want people to know. Likely somebody on the stunt team was like, holy crap, Keanu Reeves just gave me a freaking motorcycle and mentioned it, and it became, if it was the original Matrix movie, that was even before Twitter. So it's like one of those stories that became so famous through Hollywood lore, right?
Yeah.
It got passed down from person to person to person to person until it became part of public consciousness.
Yeah.
Like even I had heard the part about him giving away his Matrix earnings long before Twitter was ever a thing.
I hadn't heard that. I just heard it recently, which made me think it was the more recent one. I think Keanu Reeves is so interesting. I like that the internet likes him. I like what he does. But I also now, as we sit here, I'm like, I don't want to be like, isn't he amazing? I want to be like, no, that's the standard of human behavior. Shouldn't we all expect, is it now that we expect, he goes above and beyond.
Give regularity to charity should be a thing no matter how
treat
rich or
the
poor
other
you
people
are.
you work with like real human beings who have worth and whose contributions.
Well, this is above and beyond that.
He is definitely above and beyond.
The idea of him bringing boxes up,
Yeah.
and that's I think that's what we're talking about when you say treat them like human beings, like help when you can.
I
even
just
if it's,
mean recognizing when he says that the costumes and special effects are such a big part of the movie, yes, if they weren't there, who cares how good his acting is? That movie is not the same. But maybe go start. It's early days of 2022. Maybe we should just expect people to be half as good as Keanu Reeves.
that would be a good good standard.
Everybody's
set.
just douchey now. Look at Simu Liu.
Miracle has a very very sore spot with Simu Liu.
I don't know who that is.
He was starting
Shang-Chi
and Legend of the Ten Rings.
These
and
are all just. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
You guys are too cool for me. I don't know any.
It's okay. I just had high hopes for him, and then
he let you down?
Yeah, he let me down. So I'm disappointed with life.
Reeves' charitable acts are not that much of a shock to fans who have seen the way he approaches money. One Reddit user noted, quote, "A family friend builds movie sets, doesn't design, is one of the poor dudes that just builds." Anyways, he worked on the set of The Matrix, and Keanu heard about family trouble he was having and gave him $20,000 Christmas bonus just to help him out. He also was one of the only people on the set that genuinely wanted to know people's names, would say hello and mean it, and would talk to people as if they were peers and not below him, just because they were making practically nothing just to build a set. I've never heard anyone say Keanu is a douche. Seems like the nicest person in Hollywood from a secondhand experience. Mm-hmm. His generosity is on set and willingness to do whatever it takes to make the film go. The films get. Okay. So it says it takes to make the film goes way. So basically, it goes all the way back to like when he started making movies in The Devil's Advocate. Like he wants to get the movie made no matter what. Keanu Reeves took a several $million pay cut to make funds available to get Al Pacino's deal done. So Pacino wanted a certain amount of money, and Reeves was like, "I want to work with Al Pacino. I will take a pay cut so that he can get the amount that he wants." Even though probably at that time Al Pacino was the bigger name. Mm-hmm. So. I don't know, man. I say that we do what with Betty White, and we protect Keanu Reeves at all costs.
Yeah.
I think we just make him our standard for how people treat other people.
I think that's a good idea. Any celebrities you have high hopes for other than Simu Liu that they turn out to be decent people?
I don't know.
No?
I just don't have high hopes anymore. That just killed it.
I just don't like to idolize celebrities, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're going to mess up. They're going to do, hopefully, good things, but they're going to do bad things, too.
That's why you bring up... And it's funny you mention it, because I do think Keanu is, like, the rare example of, like, when I bring it up, because it feels like he doesn't want the attention for it, whereas most celebrities want to be seen as virtuous and good.
And I feel like there's a creativity to what he's doing. Like, working out deals, or being like, well, I'll get you guys a motorcycle, or, like, you know... It's not like he does just big gestures. He gets up for people on the subway, too. I think that's why we like him.
Yeah.
The little gestures are almost more impactful.
They're a reminder that you could do them, too.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Because, like, I know, like, in Asia, they, especially in Japan, they teach you, like, oh, yeah, when you see a pregnant woman, obviously get up and let them have the seat. Mm-hmm. So, like, it's, like, common courtesy things that, like, humans don't develop anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's just weird. Humans need to be more human. Yeah. Get off of Twitter, Instagram.
We'll all resolve to do that going forward.
Yes, I agree. I'm not getting up for if you were like on the bus and I was there, I'd just be like, sorry, deal with it.
We don't have to get up for everyone, but like,
yeah, it's just like they're just saying like just get up if you see like somebody that's very
or if you
tired.
don't need to be sitting. Like if you can stand,
you can stand for a little bit longer,
okay.
Right, Brett?
Oh, can I?
Right, Brett? What if I was pregnant right now? And I needed that bus seat.
We're not on a subway, though, so that's sort of null and void.
Yeah, but I'm painting a scenario.
I got you a seat to work in. Is that not enough for you?
Brett personally built and made that chair for you.
Actually, I did.
Yeah, you really?
I did actually build that chair.
Never mind.
Or me and Sarah.
Oh, so we don't know if he built that one. He might have built a chair.
One of these ones. I built one of these ones.
The one he's sitting in, he built.
Yes.
Yeah.
He let a working girl build the other two.
Yep.
Wow,
yeah.
Brett.
Wow. So
feminism. Good job. Much feminism.
Yep, that's me. Super feminist.
Super
you
femme.
heard it here first, folks.
He's super femme.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.